Hello, everybody. This is Captain. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Adam Irwin. I'm the head admin here that runs the Facebook page and the Twitter feeds. The majority of the time, it'll be me that you're talking to, or another one of my associates. You can look at the info page to see who all they are. If you're curious to meet any of us, get to know any of us, I know I have my my personal Facebook page link to this as well too. So give me a holler. We'll be glad to tell you what we're all about and why we do what we do. I guess we're going to jump right into it. Everybody knows obviously tomorrow is Halloween, but a lot of people I've found didn't know that we were expecting some severe weather. So that's one of the main reasons why I decided to go ahead and do the Ustream broadcast, just to be able to kill as many birds with one stone and not have to answer 10 million questions. Not that we mind, but just to be able to keep everybody informed all in one shot and cover a lot of different things that it's harder to do in just a Facebook post. So we'll dive right in. The Storm Prediction Center has been looking at this event for the past 3 to 4 days, and usually anything that makes it from 3 to 4 days actually into fruition is something worth noting. The Storm Prediction Center usually is pretty careful and choosy about what they put up and why. Obviously, they don't want to be in the crying wolf mode, because the more times we have to say, hey, I think something's going to happen, and it doesn't, it looks worse. And obviously that's not good in the public's eyes, and they don't want to lose any credibility. That's the last thing they want to do, and that's the last thing we want to do. But this has been on their radar for several days now, as I said. I invite you, if you want, to go look at it. You can view all of the information I'm about to read right now from the Storm Prediction Center at spc.noaa.gov. It's a little weather speaky and hard to understand sometimes, so they have public outlooks that are kind of translated, for a better lack of a better word, to layman's terms in there, because a lot of this is a little bit more difficult than I guess jargon, you could say, in the weather industry. The gist of it is that we're looking at a severe event coming through Thursday afternoon and the evening. I've got the timeline as of right now posted onto the page for those of you that would like to look at it. To start off with, we're looking at some showers and thunderstorms coming in the morning hours. Nothing major, or maybe some thunder, lightning here and there. We are actually under a wind advisory as well for I believe overnight into tomorrow. Let me check the details on it. It's, let's see, for our coverage area, it's for Montgomery, Robertson, Dixon, Cheatham, Davidson, Wilson, Hickman, Lewis, Williamson, Murray, Marshall, Rutherford, Wayne, Lawrence, and Giles counties. And that is in effect from 1 p.m. until 10 p.m. Central Daylight Time Thursday. So it looks like that will take over tomorrow. Misspoke. We're expecting winds coming out of the south 20 to 30 miles per hour with gusts over 40 miles an hour. And once these storms start to roll in, that will further complicate things as well, because you'll have these baseline winds in addition to any convective storm-based winds that are going too. So that's one thing to keep in mind if you have to commute to and from work, like I do. I work in Brentwood. That's the thing to be aware of, because you might get blown around a little bit on the interstates. The storms that are coming through, the showers and thunderstorms that are coming through in the morning, should be nothing more than an aggravation for the most part. It doesn't really look to be anything major. We're going to run into the severe weather. It looks like it's going to be from about around the I-65 corridor in Nashville, Williamson County, Franklin, Lawrenceburg, all the way up to the Kentucky state line around Clarksville. I believe the timing that I posted on the page a minute ago. Let me get this graphic pulled up here. I've got 100 windows open trying to keep track of all this. It looks to be, for they're right in the middle of Middle Tennessee. It looks to be 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And for areas farther west towards Perry County, it looks like the very western edge of Wayne County, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. And then a line pretty much from Murfreesboro east all the way to the plateau to Crossville. Looks like we're looking at 8 p.m. to midnight. As some of you know, that is the peak time for severe weather during the afternoon. You have the most heating from the daytime, and there should be a good bit of moisture available from the storms that came through in the morning hours to fuel these storms. We're going to have a lot of warm, moist air coming up as well from the Gulf, and this frontal system coming in is going to clash with that and react pretty favorably to a convective storm development from what the Storm Prediction Center is saying. Instability appears to be somewhat limited with the storms in the morning, the AM time. The instability, I mean by the amount of volatility, how much the atmosphere can react with the storms in the morning appears to be limited, but that is going to increase as the day goes on. There's a lower level jet system coming in where you have winds coming from the upper atmosphere down to the lower levels, and we expect a lot of lower level wind shear, meaning winds pushing through the storm systems as they play out closer to the ground, and that is where you get your rotation from, where these convective winds catch that and they start to conflict. That's where we may run into problems. From the best I can tell you, the Storm Prediction Center and the National Weather Service is expecting the storms that come through to be in a line segment, a squall line, or a bow echo, some people you may have heard it called. The good thing about that is it's harder to get embedded tornadoes in those line segments because their construction, their composition, the way they move. It is possible, but the only drawback to that is, however, difficult it is for them to form. Usually they form so quickly and can be touched down and already lifted and done damage before the radar can even have a chance to sweep around and capture it. So we'll be heavily relying on reports from spotters and from our followers with you here on Facebook and Twitter both. So the last severe event we had that was remotely any kind of decent to it was in, I believe, May, and a follower from the page sent me a picture of a funnel cloud of a tornado just about to touch down about 6 miles from where I was here at headquarters. And I checked the radar, and I've got the best radar software available. It's the same software Greg Forbes uses on the Weather Channel, and there was nothing on it. The radar view down here in southern Middle Tennessee around Maury County, Lawrence, and Giles County is farther at a lower elevation than Nashville. So when the Nashville radar looks out, it looks out in a straight line, and we're down here, it can easily miss those things between the radar level and here, which is where any tornadic activity might form. So that is something to be aware of. If you think you see something, by all means, let us know. Pictures are the best, videos are even better. It's a lot easier to tell. Send it to us. We'll take a look at it. If it's something that needs to go to the Weather Service, we'll get it to them as quick as we can. Radar is great. All these technological advances that we have, dual pole, the dual polarization radars they just got done updating are great, but nothing replaces a pair of eyes and feet on the ground. One of the main threats we are, however, looking at in the way these storms work is straight line wind damages. Any of you who have ever seen straight line winds or been in any kind of situation like that know what they're capable of. For those of you that don't, let me say, don't take them lightly. Straight line winds can be just as powerful and as strong and damaging as tornadic winds can. In this last severe event that I mentioned a minute ago, like I said, I have the best radar software on the planet, and it detected a possible tornado vortex where the radar and the program looks at the radar rain reflectivity and the wind velocities, and it was telling me that it thought a tornado was coming down the highway that I live off of. We went ahead and got into our safe place, and as soon as we did, I could hear trees snapping outside and damage going on. Luckily, it wasn't a tornado, but it did end up being straight line wind damage. And a lot of people in the neighborhood lost shingles. And one of the most amazing things I've ever seen, a full-size 30-foot trampoline was picked up and blown through 3 to 4 yards and took down panels of privacy fencing, and then was lifted 30 feet into the air and wrapped into an oak tree. If that doesn't convince you that straight line winds or something, I don't know what will. So please be very, very aware of that as well. Like I said, they can be just as damaging as tornadic winds. And as far as the rest of the threats, we've got the usual deadly lightning, cloud to ground. It's a possibility. With the amount of instability being a little less, it's not as great of a lightning threat. But with any rotation and any storms that have strong updraft, we can have large hail, and as I mentioned, the winds, just your usual run-of-the-mill thunderstorm threats. The Storm Prediction Center outlook should come out at 3 a.m. this morning, Central Time, and I will review it and post it, the pertinent parts of it, as soon as I can tomorrow. The National Weather Service in Nashville has issued a special weather statement at 4 p.m. this afternoon, and I'm going to hit some parts of it just as a public awareness statement. This is a little bit broken down more into common terms. A strong storm system bringing ahead of it an increasing chance of showers across locations west to east across Middle Tennessee early Thursday morning through the mid-morning hours, and then numerous showers and thunderstorms for the remainder of the morning hours, and the afternoon and the evening hours is expected across the mid-state as the day progresses on Thursday. Even though overall instability and thus overall potential for lightning with this event will be limited, a strong southerly low-level jet develops across the area as Thursday morning progresses. Sustained surface winds of 20 to 25 miles an hour are expected, with gusts 30 to 35 possible through the afternoon and into the evening hours. And as I mentioned earlier, that is separate of the any storm winds. So if you have a thunderstorm which can reach 50, 60, 70 miles an hour, once you add those base winds into it, that can get pretty bad quick, which is why we're not making any light of the wind threat situation, because it's definitely a threat, especially with this squall line coming through. Some of these thunderstorms could be strong and severe with strong, damaging straight line winds. Storm Prediction Center has placed all of Middle Tennessee in a slight risk. I'll expand on that in just a minute. For severe thunderstorms on Thursday, it is also possible that a few isolated tornadoes may form across the area. As I mentioned earlier, it's harder to do that within a line segment and a squall line of storms, but it is possible. It can never be ruled out, and I would be misguided and reckless if I said that it ever could be ruled out, because it never can. And that's just the fact. It's point blank. That's what it is. Along with the possibility of strong severe thunderstorms, brief heavy rainfall due to the moisture content being so rich and the atmosphere being saturated could cause some flooding concerns. If you live by any creeks or waterways, please be aware of that. It just depends on how much rain we get throughout the day, and especially as these heavier thunderstorms start to fire up during the afternoon hours. Let's see. And as I mentioned earlier, these storms should be clearing out in the mid-state area they should be in the plateau and gone by about midnight. So unfortunately, we'll be in the peak trick-or-treating hours. I've had several people already ask me, should I take my kids trick-or-treating? Ultimately, that decision's up to you. You're the best one qualified to make that decision. You had the kids, or yours to raise, but I can offer my professional opinion. If it were me, I would hold off until tomorrow. I know a lot of municipalities and places such as Miller's Thrillers here in Spring Hill, Columbia, have postponed their events tomorrow afternoon, so you may not have many people that are even expecting trick-or-treaters tomorrow. So if you do decide to go, which, like I said, I do recommend against, please take a radio, your cell phone, some sort of way to keep yourself connected to the weather situation and monitor it as it comes. As always, we'll have constant coverage as long as there's a threat. From the minute they cross the Tennessee River until they hit the plateau, we will be on. So, one last thing I wanted to cover as well along those lines. People, if you don't have a weather radio, get one. We can provide the expert analysis here and answer questions, and a lot of times we're faster than the news stations in Nashville. I've had plenty of people tell me that, and on a couple occasions, especially with the automatic posting of the warnings, we're faster than the weather radios. But it doesn't do you any good if you're not sitting at your computer. Please get a weather radio. Because if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, our warnings will auto-post to the page, but that's not going to wake you up out of a deep sleep. So if you don't have a weather radio, please consider getting one. And I wanted to go through a few preparedness and safety tips as well too. I always have plenty of people ask me this, the difference between a watch and a warning. A watch is a broad general area that can cover all of a state or several states, at least, a large portion of a geographic area. And a watch means conditions are favorable. For a tornado watch, for instance, they're saying the conditions are in place and there are storms ongoing that could produce tornadoes. You need to know what you're going to do. If a warning is issued, have your safe place picked out and know where that's at, and have it stocked with blankets, pillows, toys for your kids, phone chargers, pets, toys for them, and at the very least something to cover your head with. Mattresses are great, pillows. If you don't have a basement, ideally that is the best place to be, is in a basement. If you don't have one, get under a strong piece of furniture like a desk or a workbench, or get into your bathroom or the interior-most room of your house. It doesn't need to have windows or doors, and preferably it has a door that can be locked. And when I meant no doors to the outside or no glass doors. The bathtub is a great place because it's usually pretty strong. The pipes go down into the concrete slab if you're on a slab foundation, and if not, they're still anchored pretty well, and the bathtub will protect you itself. Fiberglass bathtubs aren't that great, but it's better than nothing. If you're in a vehicle, don't try to outrun it. Plenty of people were killed with the Oklahoma tornadoes because they were stuck in traffic jams on the interstate. You're honestly better off to abandon your vehicle and try to find some sort of shelter. If there is absolutely no shelter, lay down flat in a ditch and cover your head. The old advice and the myth about getting under a highway overpass is completely false. Please don't do that. It actually can create a wind tunnel effect as the air and the winds are coming under it and amplify the wind speed of the tornado. So don't do that. If it's lightning as well as you're outside, you need to make yourself the smallest target you can. Lightning will strike the tallest object, usually, in the area. So lay flat on the ground or crouch down, grab your knees, put your head between your knees, and try to stand on the balls of your feet to make the smallest possible target that you can. If you're in your vehicle and you come up to floodwaters, don't ever try to cross a flooded roadway. You have no idea how difficult it could be to get across, and not only that, how deep the water is. It may only look a few inches deep, and the water may only be a few inches deep, but the roadway beneath it could have washed out, and you could be about to drive into a 10-foot hole. Please don't do it. Some other things, as I mentioned, with watches and warnings. A watch means conditions are favorable. The warning means it's happening now. If they issue a severe thunderstorm warning, that means a severe thunderstorm warning or a severe thunderstorm is occurring now. Take cover, stay away from windows, try to get somewhere safe. A tornado warning, it means don't go outside and look for it. Don't, ignore it. Go to your safe place and do it now. I mentioned what your safe place should be. Here are some things that you may need to have in that safe place. Let's see, like I said, a battery operated TV or weather radio. Laptops, iPads are great. You can still monitor us, because if your power goes out, your desktop's gone and your TV's gone, the cable's gone, we will still be up. We have preparations in place to make sure that we can broadcast no matter what. If you have any questions, please email me or comment them on the page. My email address is badkarmachasing@gmail.com. Again, I want to thank everybody for following, and have a happy Halloween, and I wish you all the best and have a safe night.